Hey gamers, welcome back to Cryptic Gaming. I hope you've been having a wonderful week. So, as you can see from the thumbnail, Season 3 is coming up. Don't have much longer, 21st it should drop in. Now, there's some great things coming into Season 3. Then there's a few things that are being withheld. We're going to discuss some of those. And there's a few items that folks just have not talked about that has left me kind of scratching my head, hoping that we see it coming into Season 3, at least by the end. And I think it will, and you're going to hear about those today. So, first and foremost, there's going to be new story modes. Okay, so it says that there's going to be new narratives and quests. That means that they're going to add to the story mode. Every season that comes by, it has not surprised me where people are like, I don't have that mission. As soon as the season comes in, we all go to Blackwood or Unita, wherever they tell us to go to, and we pick up our missions, and there'll always be a few folks who say I don't have that mission. Now, that could be from a glitch, but typically it's because you've not played through the storyline. So I do encourage you, if you haven't played all the way through this storyline yet, get that done. So you're not just gathering up little pieces, broke pieces of quest lines. I've heard a lot of people say, it doesn't seem like there's a real solid story. And while there's not a solid storyline, there is a solid backstory to your character that you're building as you play. So I think it's important that you get your quest lines done, so that's going to help you out with that as well. Now, the reason I say that is there's going to be, at some point, this was what was supposed to happen in Season 3. We were supposed to have a set of missions, and we were supposed to have some quests that was take us to the deeper levels of the conflict of the Campaign Royale. And we were supposed to see what exactly it was going on between them and the DMC, and we were supposed to uncover the Rogue Warlord. Now, the Rogue Warlord's identity has not been actually established in the game. There's a few people that have pretty good clues, and they're probably right on it, but we'll just have to wait and see on that. It's a name that you hear quite a bit in the game, I'm sure. But at some point, we're supposed to see that add to the faction wars, okay? So that was going to be something that they were going to add in called Rogue Warlord is a faction war in-game mode. I don't know if that's still going to be coming into Season 3. I definitely am looking forward to it. I know that when we heard the last deck that they had streamed out, they had discussed, the two options with DMC and the Campaign Royale, and then they said that there'd probably be a third option later in the game. So I'm assuming that Rogue Warlord has something to do with that. So that'll probably be Season 4, would be my guess on that. Now, obviously, most people were drawn in because they want to hear about land combat. As far as I know, it has been released. They are putting that on hold for now. They want to make sure the naval combat asset of the game is working properly without glitches before they start adding stuff like that. And I can definitely understand that. While it does suck, we were all looking forward to some land combat. It is best that they wait. Sloop of War, great. I cannot wait for this thing. So we're going to be able to open up a Sloop of War. My guess is it'll be in the Smuggler Pass as well. For those who don't know what Smuggler Pass is, we're talking about this every 3 months you'll get a pass, or for 3 months you get a new pass, and you will progress through this to open up cosmetics and weapons and a new ship and armor and all sorts of things. So you do this every 3 months, it'll refresh itself. There's plenty of time to open up the entire pass. I don't even know, they have added this Pinnacle store in here, so I've lost track. You used to be able to track how many extra tokens you had by what you had in the corner, but now you can buy stuff. So we've been buying a lot of these different types of items as well. And of course, Thunder Dragon cannons. I bought a bunch of these boxes and stuff early on, and I've got a huge stack of these things I've just been building up. So for new ships as well, I think these would be pretty awesome. If you can put a poison perk on those, I think they'll work out pretty nice. But those are some ideas for future videos that we may look into. But Sloop of War is going to really bring a lot of those poison weapons. We're talking being able to take any of our weapons over here to the blacksmith, and we're going to be able to put poison on any of those. Any of our armor, we're going to be able to come over here and put a negation on there to help us with the poison that everyone's going to be adding to the weapons. And there's also going to be the plague ship or the new Sloop of War, which is really going to help bolster that in. Some really great weapons from what it sounded like. So I heard a lot of reviews about something called the Rot Mouth. Not rock with a CK, but rot with a T. It's a rot mouth. It's a culverin that's based off poison. And from what I've heard, that was some of the other furnitures that are coming in. This thing is going to be fantastic to put on. I'm going to put it on the frigate. I'm going to put it on a lot of things, but definitely the frigate because of the speed of the cannonballs in which they are reload and the amount of damage that you can continue to put out with that poison. So I think it's going to be pretty awesome to have that. Maybe throw on some some fire or maybe some explosive. We'll look at our furnitures and see what we're going to do. But I've got a few ideas, so definitely be looking forward to some new ships that are coming out pretty soon. And they won't be just with just the Sloop of War. Understand, all ships can use different types of weapons, and there's a lot of different versatile builds out there. I mean, I've been using the Sandbuck for a year and a half now. There's a lot of people that gave it one try and turned their nose to it and said never again. I've been using it for a year and a half. I've been using frigates and schooners and all sorts of ships. So every ship in the game has a place in my fleet. So then we're going to have this war asset deal where we're going to be coming in here. We're going to be able to come up to a tab. And it'll be similar to what we've seen on that last event that was up here where you're going to have a pass and you can progress through it. Hopefully this pass here actually works, unlike the one that we had with Dark-Eyed Lullaby. I think that they've got it worked out. We'll have to wait and see what ends up happening with that, how they end up making that happen. But definitely going to be pretty cool. So obviously the new equipment and cosmetics that are going to be coming, not just from Season 3 Guts and Glory, but we're also going to be looking at quite a bit of stuff coming in from this faction war. So I imagine we'll see a lot of DMC and a lot of campaign sales from now on. A lot of people be selling under that. And I think that that's great because there's a lot of people that like to play this game as more of a merchant than as a pirate, whereas I like to play it more as a pirate. And I don't care about having emblems and things like that on my ships. I've come up with a few ship builds over the years with cosmetics and stuff, and I see a lot of them out here at the ocean, which is kind of cool. I think that, if you found a build off of here that you like and it works pretty nice, cool. I can definitely understand why most people use the Hellfest set on the cosmetics because, hey, they just look awesome compared to most everything else. So, water spouts, my understanding, these will not make it to Season 3. They had originally planned on trying to get it in the last half of Season 3, so we'll keep our fingers crossed on it. But the way these are supposed to actually work is you're supposed to actually be able to skirt the side of the water spout to pick up speed. Now, I don't know if that's going to be side specific. My guess is it will be because sails are kind of directional specific, I think. So you'll be able to skirt that, pick up some speed, and potentially launch across the map quicker, maybe launch to an enemy for a ram faster, something like that. But if you get caught incorrectly, it's going to destroy your sails and things like that. So something to think about. Officers, it says that the game was originally supposed to produce the officer system in Season 3. So for what a lot of us were looking at for that is we're finally going to be able to have our own quartermaster and pick what they do for your ship, etc. Now, while that is on hold, again, we do not know how long it's been on hold. There's a lot of people saying maybe year 3, a lot of people saying year 4 or Season 4 of year 2. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, every time we go through this slowdown of content, this is nothing new in live service games. You'll have where an aspect, all it takes is one aspect to not quite be right, and they've decided to start holding those back rather than just have a bunch of broken stuff, and I can respect that. So I think that that's going to be pretty nice to have in the game, these additions that they've got on there. And they're supposed to build us up to a better system as far as what's coming into the game. But I think that we're looking at a pretty good setup. I know for me, the officer thing, while I was really looking forward to it, the fact that we're going to have the seasonal journey, which is where we're going to have another tab to come in and complete missions and make our commander or our ships and things like that a little more powerful. Maybe they have better for Culverin, or I'm sure most of us are going to come in here and grind the entire seasonal hub out. I'm sure at least the aspects of it that we definitely use, and we're going to be focused on that. But it'll be a tab in here as well. There'll be a seasonal tab for that, guys. So that's going to be pretty awesome. And again, when Season 3 comes out, I'll be trying to put out some smaller videos to really kind of go over some of these things and the fine-tuning of how it works and what maybe is some of the better ways to spend your points. Because as you all know, when we first get in and you've got new content, we get to, like we did with the weapons, we start rolling weapons and stuff. And while some of those things were fairly decent, some of them we ended up rolling some really crummy weapons trying to get higher percentages. So hopefully we're going to see that where that's going to change, and I try to get these videos out to you guys as we can with new information of what, in my opinion, I think are some of the better things to open up. So again, if you didn't get the Blackwood notice, you can get those Lane Cartous over here from him. That's the real long guns that have the nice explosive effect to them. You can pick those up over here from Blackwood right now. There are 1,000 of the guild marks. I need to grind out a few more guild marks to get ready for next week. But he's also got a couple blueprints. There's the secret cache, and the other one slipped in my mind. Let me check real quick. Yeah, Secret Cache and the Leather Station. So Leather Station does a good job of helping you, you know, not catch fire all the time. Secret Cache, I like it. It does a pretty good job of expanding your cargo capacity and things like that. But it used to have a purpose that would prevent seizure of illicit goods, which is basically if you had any kind of helm materials and things back in the day where they could actually board your ship and take certain types of things. It was back in the day. They don't really have that anymore, so it increases your turning speed, increases acceleration, and reduces the effects of ship encumbered state by 15%. So definitely a nice one to have, depending on what it is that you're doing. A lot of people throw that on the snow just to not get over encumbered when they're out there running their helm materials. But I think most people are using the frigate now as a treasure ship, if I'm not mistaken. So make sure that you come in and you do your basic grinds. There's a few things that you will definitely need. As I said before, you're going to need to make sure that you have plenty of the steel from Megafort Wolvenhall. You need to get that stuff. And then, of course, it's up to you how you want to do it. If you want to come over and start running Lepest. Now he drops 2 of those plague dust, typically 1 to 2 in a strong box, not always 2. What I'm going to start doing, though, is I'm going to start stacking the chest and waiting for Season 3. The reason I'm doing that is I've been having plague dust disappear. So as I defeat Lepest over here, I will just start putting those back. Same thing with any of the weapons that I gather up. I'm just going to start setting them back because I can't trust that they're not going to take stuff out of the warehouse. At least this way I've got weapons and chests set back, and maybe I can get it across the finish line to help in Season 3. I'm not sure what's been going on with that here lately, but this is something that actually, this isn't new either, where they come in and start hitting warehouses. So I've heard some folks that their silver is lower than what it usually is. Mine's about where it usually runs. It's just mostly items in the warehouse, and it's not thousands upon thousands all the time. It can be as few as 10. But when you're looking at something like plague dust, you're looking at, if you get 2 dust per run, that's 5 Lepest runs, or 10 print ships that I've had to sink, if not more, depending on what you end up getting as a salvage rate. So it can be really frustrating when you're trying to grind these things out and it just doesn't quite work out with you. What I encourage you to do is just, put that part of the grind on hold for now. That's what I've done when it comes to Lepest. You can go and hit him directly, take his chest. I don't bother with the print ships. When Season 3 comes out, if I need more plague dust, I will grind it straight from Lepest, because we're going to be able to come over here to Blackwood, grab that buoy, and go straight to that location and pop Lepest out. We're not going to have to sit there and wait for a spawn rate and all that kind of crazy stuff. We're going to be able to bring him out whenever we want to bring him out. So that's going to be pretty sweet on all those bosses, including our monsters. Like I said, Lenitra, eventually they're going to sell monster food, or bait, I should call it. They're going to have monstrous bait, and we're going to use that. You'll go to a location to pull out one of the sea monsters, rather than having a random time on there. See, the timer originally seemed like it worked, because we used to use contracts, which weren't too bad from the buoys, or too different from a buoy. You'd pick up a contract, and then you would travel out to the location, and then the monster would spawn. But what happens now is they're all on timers, and you can't see all the events that are on the timers unless you come over here to the world event tree, or the world event list, to show everything that's on the world event, how much time's left, or how long before it starts up, etc. So a lot of really cool things on there. But it'll be nice to be able to potentially get rid of that tab and just have where we could go out and spawn these things in, which would be pretty sweet. So if we decided we wanted to run Shadow Beast, we shouldn't have Vikram popping in on us, or Lee, or something like that. Now, that's not to say that someone won't go to location and spawn those extra bosses around you. We're not exactly sure how large these regions are going to be. My guess is they're going to be, quartered up across the map, maybe 5 of them. I think we're going to see like a few over here, and then one big one up in the center here. But we'll have to wait and see what they end up doing here in the game. But I'm definitely excited about Season 3. I can't wait to bring y'all a little bit more information. But like I say, as we get information on this game, try to bring it to you so you can kind of see it. We'll make sure people stay engaged and stay informed as well. So I'm going to hop off here. Y'all have a wonderful day. Definitely comment in below what are some of the things that you're looking for. If I miss something that's coming, definitely mention it in there, because I want to hear about it just as much as y'all want to hear about stuff too. Y'all have a wonderful day.